From dog tags to ownership, heroes take the lead. Stories of veterans building dreams with passion, drive, and speed. From service to success, we're here to inspire the quest. Dog tags to ownership, we're the best. Take the prize.
From the battlefield to the boardroom, this is Dog Tags to Ownership, the podcast where veterans share their journeys from serving our nation to leading in business. Hear inspiring stories of grit, growth, and the entrepreneurial spirit that drives those who've served to succeed. Tune in and take the first step toward your own mission in entrepreneurship.
Military One Percenters, welcome to Dog Tags to Ownership, where once a week we interview veterans who charted a path towards entrepreneurship. Here, our goals are to share resources, advice, and success stories about starting a business, strategies for building financial independence, and creating your own path. And most importantly, build a community to support each other through the challenges of transitioning from service life to civilian ownership. Today, episode 8, recap for February. Matt and I are together. As you can see, we got the U.S. gold medal game in the background where we just won gold after 46 years. Pretty amazing. We got to watch that together, and we were here together in Kansas City this weekend celebrating our friend Byron Green to Colonel. So like everything in the military and business ownership, it's about networking, friendships, and being with those people who are most important to you. And I think we were able to do that this weekend. So really cool opportunity for us being here in Kansas City. So to get into it, we had 3 guests, 3 missions, 1 message: ownership. In this episode of Dog Tags to Ownership, in this recap, it's all about momentum. And that momentum is really from those 3 guests that we had in the month of February. So episode 5 was with Nicole, with Reese by Nicole P. Episode 6 was with Kamar Perkins with ProTech Consulting Group. And then episode 7 was with Jeremy Stalnecker, of the co-founder of the Mighty Oaks Foundation and also a podcaster, and he has the March or Die show. And all 3 of them brought different things to the table, but the thing that they all really discussed is that momentum and how to keep that momentum going and moving forward to push to where you want to be. So Matt, would you like to get into Nicole first?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can just tell from that podcast, Nicole just has one of those contagious personalities that just attracts people to her. She's extremely positive. That's just like the nature that she has. And what she is doing by creating meaningful wreaths for families, especially those that have lost loved ones that were in the service, it just speaks volumes with her level of dedication. And it was such a unique story. You know, she lost her mom to cancer. And one of the things that they did before she passed away, her mom kind of had the idea of wanting to create wreaths, and she's come a long way with that. She's going to be expanding into other products and that sort of thing. But the impact that's had on her life, the joy that it brings her, the fulfillment that it brings her by giving back to these families, and the benefit of obviously it also being able to pay bills for supporting their family and their livelihood. So I don't know if we've had a more emotional tie to a product or a service that Nicole is delivering again to these families. Extremely meaningful. And it was such a pleasure having her on.
I think it was really cool because she is, I would say, a typical military member veteran who was doing something extra while in service, something that she enjoyed, was passionate about. She found that with her mom, and it just exploded. And she took that momentum from that one viral interview that she had and took that and moved forward. And the biggest thing that I learned from Nicole is she is proof that talent isn't the problem. It's all about how do you promote yourself so that you can grow. And that's what she continues to do. As she was talking about having social media, she hates it, but she has to do it. And she continues to do it because she wants to tell the story. She wants to get the Wreaths out there because they are important, they're impactful, they're meaningful. It was an amazing story. And I love how her drive really to continue to go and learn business ownership on the fly. Back to the theme of this is she took that momentum and just continued to push her business forward, and is continuing to do that today with adding more products, adding more things to the line that she has with like the ornaments and other stuff like that. So just continue to take that momentum that she has and move it forward. So great episode.
Yeah. And if you're thinking about, if you're looking to give something meaningful to a loved one, to a family member, service member, she's essentially taking fabrics, uniforms, those sorts of things that can be given to her, old service uniforms, and then she's creating these wreaths for families of those loved ones. It's a super neat thing. The wreaths are awesome. Check out her website,
Yeah.
and it's something that you can give that can be cherished for, a lifetime, generations to come.
I think that momentum that she has, we can now go into episode 6 with Kamar Perkins, the founder of ProTech Consulting Group, also a mentor, is on multiple nonprofit boards, does tons of things for veterans, also does tons of things for youth. He is one of those people who just serial entrepreneur almost, I would say, but is always continuing to take whatever momentum he has and push that forward to the next thing. And he does that so flawlessly. And just speaking with him and all the things that he has his hands in was quite amazing, I thought, from just being an overall founder, mentor, and a builder of businesses and helping others in what he did. And I'll let you get into him because I know you really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, one of my favorite guests, especially for season 2, probably my favorite guest. Like Julie said, real entrepreneur, doing so many things, involved in so many things. And one of the easiest interviews we've had, just because he is doing so much. Another one that I have trouble understanding where he has time or finds the time to do all the things that he's involved in. And I know as we were getting closer to the end of that episode, I mentioned my passion for real estate, and he's like, "Oh, I do that too, right? I invest in real estate too, on top of all these 10 other things that I'm doing." Volunteering his time, and an incredible story, right? His came from a bit of a troubled upbringing, and for anyone that thinks that they can't overcome obstacles in life, or perhaps coming from a broken home or a foster home or something like that, he is proof that you are not your circumstances. Those don't define who you are. And what an inspirational story from the beginnings that he came from to where he's at today.
He said it in the podcast, right? He didn't want to be another statistic from his childhood. He says it on our podcast. His mother was murdered when he was 5, and he was on the streets. And then finally his aunt and uncle him, and that's who he calls mom and dad at this point. But he said, I was not going to be another statistic. And he wants to continue to push forward. And for him, it's not chasing success for himself, but he's really building different platforms for the youth. He's building platforms for the veteran community, advocating for the veteran community. He's proving that leadership doesn't end when the uniform comes off. His biggest thing as a business owner is building the team of teams. And like you said, Matt, for Kamar, it's when you think I've done enough, Kamar says, what else can I do? And it's just so amazing. Like, I feel like I don't have enough time for everything that I do, but I really don't know how he has enough time for everything that he's doing, because it's so much with his businesses.
Yeah, and his book recommendation was The One Thing, and that's how he sort of, I think, models his approach to entrepreneurship is focus on one thing, do that one thing really, really well before you move to the next thing, right? So once you've accomplished what you set out to accomplish, you've achieved your end state, then you can move to the next passion project or endeavor. Yeah, again, one of my favorite guests.
Yeah, I know we got off that episode and you were like, man, that guy's like doing so much. And I was like, yeah, that was amazing. So please, if you haven't, go back, listen to episode 6 with Kamar Perkins, just an amazing human in North Carolina, doing a lot of great things for the North Carolina community. Just continuing his momentum and where he's going. So that brings us to episode 7 with Jeremy Stalnecker. He's the co-founder of Mighty Oaks Foundation. And I know, Matt, you were on the podcast for about 16 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you had to drop off because you had a water leak in your house. So I had to carry that one, like everything for DogTags to ownership. That's no change from what we do on a daily basis. But if you haven't listened to episode 7 with Jeremy, another amazing story. And I know you got to catch the beginning of his story and how he got into co-founding Mighty Oaks Foundation and what Mighty Oaks Foundation is. But it came from his struggles with PTSD following the invasion of Iraq and him getting out of the military and just not knowing what to do or where to go. He came back and said, like, he was just not a nice person. He wasn't a good person. He wasn't a good father. He wasn't a good husband, son, friend, any of those things, because he didn't know how to deal with the things from Iraq, being over there, and then also from the age of 14 to when he got out of the Marine Corps, like that was his dream. We talk a lot on this podcast about purpose and why. And for him, he thought when he got out of the military that basically like his purpose and his why was gone because all he ever wanted to do was be a Marine, be an infantry officer and all of those things. But what he didn't realize was he could still help Marines and service members, veterans, first responders when the uniform came off. And I think for that aspect and why he's co-founder of Mighty Oaks from his personal struggles, it is just really admirable. And I think I said that like 15 times in the podcast, just what they are doing with Mighty Oaks Foundation is so inspiring. And it's so important. It's the important work that nobody really wants to do sometimes is talking about mental health struggles and how do we help our service members overcome those mental health struggles so that they can go on to do important, meaningful things after the military service. An amazing message, really about resiliency is a choice. You have to take the time to, some people had some hard conversations with him, but he listened to those conversations. And, he said it took him about a year. He said his wife will say it took him about 10 years, but he is in such a better place in helping active duty military members, veterans, first responders with their faith-based program that they have with Mighty Oaks. And then also on top of that, he has written a few books. And one of those books is March or Die. And he tells the story of how the book March or Die came about. But it's from a time when he was in Iraq, and one of the operations they were doing. And there's a saying, I guess, when danger's coming, do you march forward or you stay there and die? And his podcast that he has, it comes from that book and telling the stories of how do you march forward instead of just stay and die on site. And so really just great little nuggets of information. And then, also he was vulnerable on our podcast and, just talking about how, you can heal, but it doesn't happen by accident. And growth doesn't happen by chance. You have to make that decision. You have to decide that you want to do those things. And that's what Mighty Oaks Foundation does, is it helps people with that decision, helps them grow, and then also heal from that. So just an incredible story. Amazing what they're doing with that foundation. If you are out there and you're struggling, or you know someone who is struggling and they need some help, or they need, just a little push forward, reach out to Mighty Oaks Foundation. They are growing a lot and they cannot take everybody throughout a year with all their different cohorts. But what they do have is on their website, they have a lot of resources. So they have books, they have, I think they have tutorials, they have those types of things that you can utilize until you could potentially get into their 5-day program. And another great thing about their program is once you do those 5 days, they also have aftercare to continue that growth for you, that healing as you continue to move forward with your life. So I do, empower you to go back if you haven't listened to episode 7 with Jeremy, and what Mighty Oaks Foundation is doing, because it's an amazing foundation that's really striving to help our service members, veterans, and first responders out there.
My only comment to that, when you were talking about March or Die, I think it really has this double meaning. It's, yes, there's the, moving forward in combat, but I think it's also that transition after we take off the uniform where you have to keep moving forward. So if you're struggling with PTSD, if you're depressed, those sorts of things, you have to keep pressing forward. There's resources out there. There's resources available for those that are having, those types of issues. So continue marching forward.
Yeah. And, continue marching forward as you're on this journey of turning your dog tags into ownership. And this Thursday, we have DogTags Connect at 8 p.m. Eastern. Please join us. It is no slides, no agenda, just candid, honest, open discussion about business ownership. And the first DogTags Connect back in January, we had about, I think, 10 or 12 guests on, some serial entrepreneurs, some who are just getting started in entrepreneurship, and some who are just thinking about it. Everyone was able just to ask questions and help each other. And that's part of the community that we're building here, Matt, is with DogTags Ownership, is that community of helping each other, military, active duty, veteran, military connected, family members build their businesses through that community to help each other. So join us on Thursday at DogTags Connect. It's on our social media. I'll continue to be posting about it. Send me an email if you want the link as well. I can send it to you, text it to you, email it to you, and just join us 8 p.m. Eastern. Like I said, no slide, no agenda, just honest, open conversation to how to turn your dog tags into ownership.
Yeah, the first one we did was a lot of fun. And I think a lot of valuable information was shared, and just love the participation. And again, this is a great community and a lot of insight with the folks that we have on this podcast. So I think the folks that came on really enjoyed the time.
But really, to kind of close out this recap episode after an amazing U.S. men's hockey gold medal win. That was amazing for us to watch. But really the pattern for this is Nicole showed us the courage to show up with her business and really having to build her business on the fly. Kamar showed us the power of service. So as he continues to give back to the youth, give back to the veterans, and then just continues his momentum with his businesses. And then Jeremy showed us the strength to rise, and that strength to rise from adversity, rise from struggles, to really grow yourself and be a member of society and give back. So they're all in different lanes, but the same fire, and ownership is action. At the end of the day, it's bold, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. And if you continue to take the momentum that you have with what your passion is, what your why is, you're going to be able to transform whatever you want to do into something that is impactful. And that's what all three of these guests have done, is they've taken their purpose, their why, and have transformed those things into businesses or nonprofits that are impactful for our community. And it was just amazing to hear, amazing to see for the month of February and talk to these great guests. So just in closing, if you've been hesitating, this is your wake-up call. This is your wake-up call to start a business. Join us for DogTags Connect on Thursday. Post content, start your business, make an impact, heal a wound, step up. But this is DogTags ownership. That's from your service to your sacrifice. It's all significant. So let's continue to build this together and turn our dog tags into ownership. Military One Percenters, whether you're brainstorming your first business idea, already running a company, or just curious about where to start, DogTags Ownership is the place for you. Please hit that subscribe button to receive all new episodes. Also, if you know someone who has turned their dog tags into ownership, drop us a DM on social media or tag someone. We are always looking for new guests to bring onto the podcast. And as always, Military One Percenters, thank you for your service. Let's continue this journey and working together to write our next chapter. Until next week, keep pushing to turn those dog tags into ownership.
From dog tags to ownership, heroes take the lead. Stories of veterans building dreams with passion, drive, and speed. From service to success, we're here to inspire the quest. Dog tags to ownership, we're the best. Take the prize.